We have this from the Daily Mail. Kid Rock uses N-word, waves handgun, and challenges reporter to physical fight as he claims Donald Trump cheats at golf in unhinged interview.
That's hilarious.
I love this country so much.
This guy is...
Yeah.
It's the best.
How old is Kid Rock now or something like that?
50-something,
I think
right?
he's older than that, right?
Is he?
I don't think
look.
he's in his 60s.
Well, let's read the news, I guess.
Yeah.
Daily Mail reports Kid Rock wielded a gun, hurled racial slurs, and instigated a physical altercation with a reporter, according to a new Rolling Stone article. Of course, I don't believe Rolling Stone because they lie about too much. Writer David Peisner recalled the encounter in a piece published Sunday following his interview with the country rapper in Nashville last month. During the unhinged chat, they delved into topics ranging from immigration and Donald Trump to Kid Rock's right-wing warrior persona. As the drinks flowed and Kid Rock's intoxication grew, Peisner described a tense moment where the musician abruptly produced a black handgun, waving it before Peisner's face in an apparent attempt to make a statement. And I've got a effing GD gun right here if I need it. Kid Rock, who was also close friends with Trump Jr., reportedly shouted, "I got them everywhere." The cowboy hitmaker reportedly used the N-word multiple times, notably while asserting that Republicans were the one who freed the slaves.
Oh, my God.
He says, "Do you think you could whoop the ish out of me?" He allegedly asked Peisner, who responded, "Probably not." I agree, probably not.
He's 53, apparently.
Kid Rock would be able to win a fight with his.
Kid Rock.
What else is this?
You're not supposed to say the N-word.
He says,
But
"You
he's
think
a
I
country
like?"
rapper.
He says, "You think I like Trump because he's a nice guy? I'm not electing the deacon of a church. That MFer likes to win. He likes to cheat in his effing golf game. I want that guy on my team. I want the guy who goes, I'm going to fight for you."
Oh, my God.
Yo, this headline is America.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Is it?
It's a total circus.
It's the bull god.
But the thing is, when they say he uses the N-word, you know that he didn't.
You don't think?
No. Use and say are two different things. The idea that Kid Rock was actually intending to insult and demean a person based on their race, I don't believe for 1 second. The idea that he said that, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. Like that's America's a free speech place where people are going to tell you, you know, is the country where a homeless guy can give the middle finger to the president. Go to Thailand and say this about the king, and
They
you
kill
go
you,
to,
right?
I think you go to prison. I don't know if they kill you, depending on what you say. But it's so bad. It's called lèse majesté. It's so bad that if you condemn someone who said, let's say in Thailand, they say something like, F the king. And then you go, how dare you say F the king? You both have just committed lèse majesté. The fact that you repeated it in condemnation is a crime itself. And so people are terrified.
Yeah.
In America, you could be like Kid Rock.
Yeah, you might get canceled. I don't know. What did you get canceled
He ain't
from?
getting canceled.
There's nothing
And he just added another 10,000 new fans.
Probably right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Although, like, I actually think, you know, Rolling Stone wrote how Kid Rock went from America's favorite hard-partying rock star to a MAGA mouthpiece. I don't even know why you'd agree to do an
Why
interview
would
with
he
these
do
people.
an interview with Rolling Stone? I mean, come on.
Is that his name, Bob Ritchie?
Yeah.
His real name? Bob.
Bob. Good job, Bob. Hope you didn't use the hard R.
I really doubt this guy's telling the truth, to be completely honest. Like, the Rolling Stone is absolute garbage.
Look at what we're talking about, a man swearing.
There's crazy news out there today.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, in a day when we were just talking about the president of Iran.
Well, yes, but
crashing,
Phil,
and now...
this is intentional. It's like we're talking about all these really awful things, a demented president, the death of another president, World War III. And so I intentionally pulled up the silly story for levity.
It is fair, but there are people that do get really upset about that. And there are people that will, you know, make threats and try to get people fired and stuff. And
I just got to say to everybody who's listening, if we talk about Kid Rock cussing up a storm and screaming "Go Trump," there are going to be people who are going to say something like, "Why are we talking about this? This is a waste of time." And then if we're like, "Okay, let's pull up the story from Iran and the dead president," they're going to say, "You guys are pessimists talking about war too much. Let's talk about something calmer." There's nothing you can do. Okay.
I'm not even talking about the intensity of it. It's just that it's more of a comment on the fact that an adult swearing is something that actually
newsworthy.
is. Even though it is for levity, it's something.
Oh,
that,
I get
that
your
we'll
point,
talk
right?
about.
The fact that
he
Rolling
supposedly
Stone
wielded a weapon. That's the question. I bet you he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't believe that part of it. I don't think he took out a gun and started.
But even if he
brandishing
did, that's
it.
kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
He brandishes a gun and he swore, and he used a dirty word. It's the fact that Rolling Stone even
far,
mentions it is just so ridiculous.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't believe Rolling Stone. This is just
It makes stuff
diarrhea. It's news story diarrhea. However, if I'm hanging out anywhere and someone's drunk and they pull out a gun, I'm leaving. No questions
If they're
asked.
drunk, absolutely.
No questions. You are drunk and you touch a gun, I say, I am leaving.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. That's it. I'm getting out of here quick as possible. Because there was just another story that we had. It was on the sidebar of the New York Post. Some dumb rapper teenager shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you don't mess around with guns, man. You got to get training. You got to know what you're doing. And
he broke 3 rules. There's only 4 rules, and he broke 3.
I think the thing is with Kid Rock, they're always going to want to pull him out to be like, this is what everyone who supports the MAGA
Trump.
movement looks
That's
like.
what they're
you know?
doing, yeah. It's
He
a
is
smear.
this crazy guy with this long hair, and he says crass things, and he has a gun or whatever it is. Like, and you
This
know,
is your Trump voter.
this is like who, if you have a neighbor who has a Trump sign in his yard, this is who lives next door to you. And I
Yeah.
don't even think regardless of what you think of what Kid Rock said or alleged said or did or whatever,
Yeah.
like the idea is to be able to hold up people who seem distasteful to the public and say anyone who supports Trump is like this person, and here's why you should be not just like not friends with them, but also sort of scared of the weird and crazy things they do.
Yeah, they do the same thing on a smaller scale, of course, to the people in the Mises Caucus in the Libertarian Party. They find, they try to associate us with all kinds of racism and, other kinds of indiscretions that they don't like. But it's,
you know that someone at Rolling Stone was like, "Are we a music publication?" Like,
I feel like I haven't been for
we?
a long time.
Maybe that conversation happened 10 years ago.
right. The editor walks up to one of the Democrats that's working in the office currently on the phone with Joe Biden, and he's like, "You know how we used to be a music publication? Let's interview Kid Rock so we can smear and insult Trump supporters."
Right.
And the Democrat was like, "That's a great idea, and I can pretend to be a journalist."
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we are. This is America, everybody.
I mean,
Hope you're
that's what I
enjoying
always thought
yourselves.
about, Teen Vogue when they started having political reporters, and I thought, you're
Remember
a teenage girl magazine.
We
What's
talked about
We
happening?
got
this.
to pull that one up. What was that Teen Vogue Marx
message.
thing?
Teen Vogue.
Teen Vogue talking about Marx.
Oh, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
there you go. Teen Vogue. Who is Karl Marx? Meet the anti-capitalist scholar.
anti-capitalist scholar.
Insane.
The anti-capitalist scholar.
Oh wow!
okay,
this
so
was
that's all he was just a scholar.
And then tons of,
Insane.
well, this is 2016, so
He
it might still be
wasn't
millennials,
a
but
mad ideologue who tried to destroy civilization with an utterly flawed theory. And
So-
he wasn't really, he didn't cheer on mass terror, although he did.
What a lunatic
so
this
why
guy.
were you a Marxist? Like, how did you
Well,
get...
listen, I mean, I was indoctrinated through, I went to graduate school and got indoctrinated through English departments and tons of books and reading they kept thrusting on us. And eventually...
But you weren't political before that?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I was somewhat political. I was very anti-war, but they kind of just drilled it into you. I mean, I have agency. It wasn't like I thought there was some ethical basis to it. I thought it was more ethical than capitalism, but I realize now that it's absolutely the most unethical economic system there is because it's premised on theft.
And what made you... When did the tide start to turn? Because
When I was at NYU and I started speaking up against, like, things started percolating in my head about this social justice, wokeness, and all that. It wasn't called wokeness yet. This was 2016,
Yeah.
and I started speaking up on Twitter. I started a handle, anti-PC NYU prof. That got a little attention, and then they came for me. Yeah.
You got fired, didn't you?
No, I was
did
not
get fired.
fired. I left with a settlement, as a matter of fact.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they like to lie. Speaking of lies, Wikipedia is a lie rag as
Yep.
well.
Yep. But it's because you've got collectivists up against individualists.
Right.
The individualists are like, I'm going to do my thing, mind my own business. The collectivists are like all for the revolution.
Oh, absolutely. And they'll
the point
they're
where-
very interested in destroying the individualist.
To the
Big
point
time.
where Teen Vogue wrote a puff piece on Karl Marx.
This is unbelievable. What's it say? I can't see it from here.
You may have come across communist memes on social media. The man, the meme, the legend behind this trend is Karl Marx, who developed a theory of communism, which advocates for workers' control over their labor instead of their bosses. The political philosopher turned 200 years old on May 5th, but his ideas can still teach us about the past and the present. The famed German co-authored the Communist Manifesto, which scholar Friedrich Engels in 1848, a piece of writing that makes the case for political theory of socialism, where the community, rather than rich people, have ownership and control over their labor, which later inspired millions of people. Here's the trick. You want to know what the trick is? You already own your labor.
Yeah.
You never didn't.
Right.
And so the issue is the idea, when they tell you, you don't actually own your labor, your boss does. What they're really saying is you provide little value beyond what labor you have. And what I'm actually saying is you would get more if only you had some kind of nebulous claim to something. Basically, the issue is for a lot of people, they sell their labor for what they can sell their labor for. And the unfortunate reality of the world is some people can sell their labor for very little. Well, if you want to steal power and destroy an institution, go to all the workers and say, you're getting paid $10 an hour. You know that he's getting paid 15, right?
Yeah.
And so what you do is you sow discord by tricking people into thinking that they're getting less than they deserve.
Right.
And so there are instances where certainly people are getting less than they deserve. But the market is the market.
Yes, there are cases, usually by monopolies, which only come into existence thanks to the state.
I don't think it's only the state that makes monopolies, but the state certainly makes monopolies.
It makes monopolies, but I would argue that there are no natural monopolies.
The East India Trading Company?
That was a state project.
I mean,
Great Britain was completely behind that, even with military assistance.
Yeah, but you could argue that the power of the East India Trading Company basically dictated the government was operating outside of its borders. I suppose then at a certain level, the state and the corporations operate interchangeably.
It was a colonialist project as well, so...
But I think it's probably just fair to say that at a certain level, there's a coalescence of government and corporate power into a fascistic machine.
Yes, that's correct.
So
that's the kind of collusion.
We're looking at the top of the hill from both sides of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look at it from the side of the state and what they're doing, and they would not be able to have collusion with corporations if they didn't exist.
Well, for what reason teenagers need to learn about Karl Marx, I don't know.
So they don't learn about anything else.
Well,
this is what they're like, wow, he seems like he helped the workers.
Well, you're right, but this is something that I've talked about before. It's not just Teen Vogue. You get Teen Vogue and GQ will have the same thing, and then Good Housekeeping will run a similar leftist. And essentially, you're getting this mono message from all of establishment media, or from a vast majority of establishment media. There's no reason why GQ and Teen Vogue would be running the same articles. Why would, 30, 40-year-old upper middle class men be interested in the same thing that teen girls are?
There's got to be orchestration going on.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.